Hey, what's up, everybody out there in YouTube land? Um, I am starting this channel. It's going to be called the KT Hoops channel. I'm specifically going to be talking about basketball from my point of view, from the eras that I've grown up in, which is the 80s, the Magic and Bird era, to the 90s, which is the Michael Jordan really dominated era, the early 2000s, which is more the Shaq and Kobe, young Kobe era. And then we're going to delve in, of course, to the middle 2000s, which was really when Kobe dominated the league. As you can see, I'm a big time Laker fan, so don't slight me for being a little Laker biased, but I am going to keep the opinion very neutral as much as I can on this channel. And then, of course, we're going to delve into today's dominated era, which is, really been LeBron's era, the Steph Currys, the KDs, um, uh, you know, James Harden, and those type of players, and what I feel the NBA has come from, evolved to, good or bad. But these are the topics I'm going to be delving into on this channel. So for my real hoopers out there, let's really talk hoop. Unemotional, but we're gonna talk opinions, and I feel that my experience in hooping gives me somewhat a valued opinion because I've seen basically three generations of hooping, and I just want to delve into those topics. So the first thing I want to start out with is, I'm sure what everybody usually starts out with, is who is their top whatever. And this topic is going to be on my top five today. And I'm not talking about just top five, position wise, where you got to have a specific point guard, shooting guard, small forward, et cetera, et cetera. I'm talking about just my top five of all time, no matter what position they're playing. I'm talking skill level, I'm talking leadership, we're talking impact on the game. Those are the topics that we're going to be diving into, and this is what I want to introduce with my top five today. So let's get it going. Let's talk about it. And of course, at the end of the video, you can subscribe to the KT Hoops channel and give me your top five. Give me your opinion on my top five, and we can have an open discussion about it. So let's go. Let's talk. My first overall, of course, I got to go with MJ, the GOAT, Michael Jordan. Although grew up a Magic guy, I got to give credit where credit is due. And MJ is the GOAT, hands down, no questions asked. He's the GOAT. I mean, growing up, like I said, I was a Magic guy. That's who got me into basketball. But growing up and really learning the game and going back and watching those games and the stuff that Michael did fundamentally, we could talk about the six championships. We could talk about him going 6 for 6, six MVPs, 14-time, 15-time All-Star, dunk champion, defensive player of the year. We could talk about all the accolades. That's easy to say. But I'm talking about just straight basketball, knowing, what to do at the right time, hitting the clutch shots from the Game 6 shot against Utah to the Cleveland shots. And, that's all the stuff that we all know. But I'm talking specifically. Let's talk intricately. I remember this is one example. I remember Doug Collins in the 1989 season, right before Phil came along and took over. Doug Collins asked Michael to play point guard, and being a Laker fan, remembering at that time they played the Lakers in a regular season game, and MJ played point guard, and MJ, I think, he didn't put up his normal, like 30, 40. MJ put up like 23, 15, and about 9 rebounds. Don't quote me on that, but I'm just talking about this specifically because this man was able to adjust his game to specifically do what his team needed. And that's what I'm talking about, impact on the game. Impact, he was able to adjust defensively. In the 88 season, he won Defensive Player of the Year while putting up 30 plus points a game. And then as we get older into his career, once if you could say Michael Jordan never slowed down, but he developed that fall away jump shot, which to me is, besides the sky hook, is the most unstoppable shot I've ever seen in my life. There's nothing you can do with that shot. So that's what I'm talking about. Impact on the game, and nobody impacted or dominated the game like Michael for, the size that he was, the old heads, I'm kind of in between. I could be an older head, but then, I could still relate to the young brothers. But, the older guys would say, that Wilt was the most dominant aspect ever. But, I really never seen Wilt play. I'm not going to take anything away from my OGs, but, from what I seen, domination, and, Michael was the man. So I don't think too many people are going to fight me on that, but Michael is my number one. Let's move on. Number two. And I'm going to have to go with Magic. Like I said, Magic was the man that got me into basketball. Being a Laker fan, Magic was my dude. I mean, we talking about 6'9" point guard that can run the break, run the team. And what many people forget about Magic is that if Magic really wanted to, Magic can put up 30 if he wanted to. But because he was that guy that wanted to get everybody involved, he wanted to get everybody off before he decided that, okay, this is what my team needs from me. So, now I can start to get my intricate offense off. Magic would say always that this was Kareem's team. Even, when Kareem was in his latter years, Magic was still deferred to Kareem. I'm going to go to another story that I heard, just being a basketball fan as long as I've been. Pat Riley in the 87 season, after they lost to the Rockets on the miracle Ralph Sampson shot, Pat Riley went to Magic in 87 and told him, look, I need you to score more. The cap is getting up there. I need you to be the one to take over. So Magic upped his scoring from the previous year from about 18, 19 points a game to 25 points a game, and still giving you 12 assists and 7 rebounds. So, Magic dominated the court from all positions. The only thing that Magic, I would say, was lacking on was defense. But Magic was a strategic defender. Team defense is what Magic was strong at. He may not individually lock you down like a Michael or a Kobe or any of those defensive guys like that. But Magic knew how to play D strategically. So, and also, let's not forget, the man put up 42, 15, and 7 assists as a 20-year-old in the finals against Julius Erving and that great Philadelphia team. So salute to Magic, man. That was my dude. So I had to put him number 2 because he revolutionized the game along with Larry Bird. So now we're going to move on to number 3. And my number 3 guy is, of course, the Mamba. This man right here. This is who took me to the next level in basketball. Me and him are the same age. When he was coming out of high school, I heard about this dude, this 17-year-old kid coming from Philly. And, man, I was, that was the summer that we also got Shaq. So Kobe, I kept hearing about this kid that Jerry West was really interested in. And when they traded Vlade for him, I was like, man, we ain't got no center. Shaq hasn't signed. Man, what do we go do? We stepping out on a limb, looking to shop our center for a high school kid. And then, he came in, and first year, Dale Harris didn't really play him. He was playing behind some great dudes, Eddie Jones, Nick. No, he was playing behind some great dudes. So, but you could see it. If you're a basketball dude, you could see what Kobe had that other dudes they just didn't have it. And then, of course, the second year when he was a sixth man and was coming off the bench, and he was giving people work and he was barely playing 20 minutes a game. And then, once Phil came in, that's when Kobe just took off. And this is the only dude that I've seen that's anywhere close to Michael. Anywhere close to Michael. Kobe, from the 81-point game to 62 and 3/4 at 20 years old, taking over the game in the finals against Indiana. People forget that Game 7 against Portland, too, that was Kobe who really was the one that led the charge back from 15 in the fourth quarter. Man, just everybody talked about his work ethic. Work. That's what Kobe instilled in me, from playing. I was that dude that was in the gym, watching video. I was the same way as him. Of course, I'm not no Kobe, but I'm talking about just, you want to talk about razor sharp focus. Kobe Bryant is hands down the most razor sharp focused dude that there was on the court besides Michael. Those two dudes are head and shoulders above anybody. Michael or Kobe, we're talking about, a year, the year that Steve Nash won the MVP, which, whatever, okay. You want to get an MVP to Nash, cool, okay. But Kobe that year, 35, 5, and 5. And let's look at his starting lineup. His point guard was Smush Parker. His shooting guard was, Kobe was considered the shooting guard. But Lamar, we talking Chris Mem and Kwame Brown. And his bench was like Luke Walton and guys like that. And he was able to take that team to the playoffs in the West. So that's what I'm talking about with Kobe's greatness, and then, of course, when the Powell trade came along, he was able to get that second guy that he needed. And by that time, the team had formed up, and, Kobe was able to go on and win those two other chips besides the three with the Big Diesel. But my dude Kobe, of course, the tragedy this year, but salute to that brother. Kobe was magnificent, unbelievable. So that's my third guy on my list. My fourth on my list, and this was kind of hard, but not really. I love Larry Bird. Larry Bird was, he's a Celtic, but just to watch that guy do what he did with the skills that he had. But I couldn't put him fourth on my list. Fourth on my list is LeBron, LBJ. And when I talk about LBJ, this dude is like a mixture of Michael and Magic to me. LBJ, he is another one that can just control the game at all aspects. If you watch him, especially now at 35 years old, still doing the things that he does, controlling the game, hey, I need a shooter over here. You move over to the corner. If you watch him directing the game, LeBron just he's an orchestra leader out there. And if he needs to take over, it's game over. If he needs to take over, it's game over. He's another one that tries to get everybody involved, but LBJ could be a killer. The only thing that kills me about LeBron, though, and although he's my fourth guy on the list, the only thing that kills me is LeBron being 6'9", 260. I wish he would take more people in the post. That being said, I understand he takes care of his body and he doesn't want to grind down during the regular season by really getting in the post and wasting energy. So I see where he comes from strategically. It's just a basketball aspect, and I'm like, man, 6'9", 260, who's going to stop you down there? But you know what? Nobody stops him outside either. So it really doesn't matter. But I'm talking a guy, let's go back to, for instance, I like to give examples of why I put these guys on my list. Let's go back to when he was in Cleveland. That Detroit game where he scored the final 25 points as a 22-year-old, and he took that Cavs team to the finals. And his starting five was Larry Hughes, Drew Gooden, Zydrunas Ilgauskas, and Eric Snow. And he took that team to the finals and beat that Pistons team that had been to the Eastern Conference Finals 5 straight times. Man, at 22 years old, what else can I say? LeBron, the king. He, you want to talk about statistics. People talk about how he struggled in that finals against Dallas. Yeah, he did. But his struggles are most people's career numbers. Just think about that. His struggles are most people's career numbers. LeBron is just a different beast. He's a different beast. And, for him to be doing what he's doing at 35 just proves my point even more. Let's go to the last one on the list. Number 5. And this was my hardest one to tug with. My 5th guy on the list was the captain. I know, Big Diesel, 3 finals MVPs, back to back to back. And I mean, what he did in those finals were ridiculous. What he did to Mutombo in 01, Indiana and the Nets was ridiculous. And Shaq was the most dominant player in that era. And I'm not taking anything away from the Diesel, but the Cap was just, he's another one that transcended basketball. The Cap was the reason why the dunk got outlawed in college basketball. He went, I believe, 88 and 2 or 3 at UCLA. Then he has the most unstoppable shot in history. The most unstoppable shot in history is the hook shot. For the young heads out there, the hook shot is the most unstoppable shot in NBA history. So, and then not to mention, the Cap played until he was 42. He's the all-time leading scorer in the NBA. And again, let me give you an example of why I put the Cap ahead of Shaq on my list. At 40 years old against the Celtics in the 87 finals, the clinching game, Game 6, the Cap at 40 years old, 32 points, 9 rebounds, 4 blocks. 40 years old. Think about that. And he's playing against a front line of Robert Parrish, Kevin McHale, and Larry Bird, all Hall of Famers. 40 years old. Let that sink into your head. 32 points in the clinching game at 40 years old. So that's why I put the Cap on my list. Not to mention, the other accolades. He won the 87 or 71. I know that's unheard of for my millennial dudes out there, and young ladies, basketball fans too. 71 is unheard of, but he did win the MVP of the finals then, and he won the MVP of the finals in '85 against Boston when they finally beat Boston in the finals. So, the Cap is just, I don't think I love Shaq. I love him, but I can't put Shaq ahead of the captain because at 40, Shaq was already sitting in the TNT studio. At 40, Shaq was still, or at 40, the Cap was putting up 32 points in a clinching game. So, and then not to mention the numbers, the longevity, the impact on the game, his hook shot, and him causing the dunk to be outlawed from college basketball. So, that is my top 5. And if anybody, wants to comment or talk to me or whatever about it, please leave your comments in the comment section and subscribe to the KT Hoops channel. You can hit me up on Instagram at KT Hoops. And I will be doing these videos, and please, in the contents, leave me feedback. I would like to know what you think I can do better. If you want to give me topics, let's talk. That's what this channel is going to be about. I enjoy talking hoops. I enjoy talking any sports, really, but this is specifically going to be about hoops. And eventually, I am going to be starting a podcast where we're going to talk about everything sports related and other topics. But please do that. Subscribe to the channel, please, too. Also, subscribe to the KT Hoops channel, and I'll see you on the next video. Let me know what you think. Thank you, everybody. Peace.